This is a Fox 19 Now First Alert weather warning.
Well, good evening, everyone. A tornado warning has been issued that includes parts of Warren County. There is no sighting of a tornado, but there's a thunderstorm that radar looks at and sees rotation and enough rotation for maybe a tornado to spin up. And with the history of these storms during the afternoon hours, more than likely we have enough rotation for that to happen if everything else is just right. So what you see here is you see all the rainfall. The magenta there, and we'll get to it in a second, the northern part of Warren County is under that tornado warning. You can see all the storms. They've just blown up, doing exactly what the model said, beginning to sink south and eastward, and they're going to cross the entire Fox 19 Now viewing area. And this is just the first installment. We've got a couple more coming our way overnight and during the morning hours of tomorrow. So if we get rid of the rainfall, you can see the tornado warning right there. We're going to zoom in here, and you can see that it covers, let's see here, put my phone down here, and we can drag the map back this way and get a little bit closer to it. So you can see that it's from Dayton down to just about Lebanon. Lebanon itself is not in that tornado warning. It does include Wayne Township. It just touches Franklin Township. And anything north of this horizontal line here is out of our viewing area on the way up to Dayton. So if you're in the northern part of Warren County, and if you look at this and you're not really sure if you're in that zone, take cover immediately. Tornadoes that we had earlier today, from some damage photos I saw, could have been EF1s to EF2s. That's very dangerous. And so if you hear thunder, if you hear lightning in your area, definitely take cover immediately because a tornado could spin up out of the storm fairly unexpectedly. And we expect it because the thunderstorm is rotating. There's no tornado now, and it doesn't take long for those things to spin up and for a tornado to touch down. So the tornado warning, again, extends across the northern part of Warren County, from Lebanon just to the kind of the eastern part of Franklin Township, and then to the western part of Wayne Township. So all that northern part of Warren County is under that tornado warning. If we move this over a little bit further, you can see there's a lot of other stuff going on. In addition to the tornado warning for Warren County, we have Clinton County under several different overlapping severe thunderstorm warnings. Sometimes that happens when storms are moving quickly or they're growing quickly. And so most of Clinton County, if you're north of Martinsville, including Sabina, including Wilmington, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. You should take cover immediately on that. And if we zoom out, you can see that this is really the only tornado warning out there. It includes parts of Dayton, southward into Warren County, and that's the area where the most danger is of a tornado spinning up from this rotating thunderstorm. Again, there's been no touchdown. There's been no sighting of a tornado or a funnel cloud. This is purely rotation that a radar sees. National Weather Service meteorologists running the radars decided that there's enough rotation there that a tornado could spin up and touch down. So one of the differences between now and when I first started in this business is you only warned after one touchdown. Now you've got advance warning. So then again, here's a severe thunderstorm warning. It's from Ripley County into southern Franklin, across northern Dearborn into the western part of Hamilton and southwestern Butler County. Another severe thunderstorm warning, which takes up most of Butler County. So if you're in Butler County, severe weather is likely. If you're in Warren County, in addition to the tornado warning we just talked about, there's a severe thunderstorm warning, which takes up most of the county, and then most of Clinton County also. Now remember, all this activity is sinking south and eastward, so it's very likely that the city of Cincinnati, that parts of Claremont, Brown counties, and northern Kentucky will also have warnings of one sort or another. And again, the severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect extends from our viewing area all the way to Illinois, and that's in effect until 2 a.m. So we're going to have a long, long night here with severe thunderstorm activity possible all the way into tomorrow morning, and we'll be here through the night. We'll let you know if anything does come up that will affect you. But watch what happens here. Here's the thunderstorms that we were watching. They just blow up as they move into the right kind of environment. They move into the Fox 19 Now viewing area, and they bring that severe weather to the area. So let's take another closer look at this. And you can see that, again, let's move the map northward here a little bit, and you'll see that severe thunderstorm, or the tornado warning includes Clear Creek Township. It includes parts of Wayne Township, just the western or the eastern part of Franklin Township, and it bottoms out more than likely just north of Lebanon. So if you're in the northern suburbs of the city of Lebanon, you're included in that, but from Lebanon southward, you're not. South Lebanon's not included, and no other county is included at this point in that tornado warning. And if we zoom back out here, you can see the position of that now. We've had no reports of a touchdown, no reports on that cell of funnel sighted. It's just purely rotation that is seen by radar. And from earlier on, from the tornadoes that did touch down earlier, you could see that rotation very well in the thunderstorms. So the National Weather Service meteorologists decided, since you can see that rotation so well, that that is deserving of a tornado warning. So if you're north of Lebanon, between Franklin and Wayne Township in the northern part of Warren County, you should be taking cover, getting to a safe spot, getting to the basement, staying away from windows, and definitely don't go outside. We always like to get damage photos in that from our viewers, but we also urge you never put yourself in harm's way to get a photograph to us. It's just not worth it. Believe me, we don't want you to do that at all. So here, let's go back over all this stuff again. If we take a look at the wider shot here, you can see a cluster of severe thunderstorm warnings, which takes up a good portion of the Fox 19 Now viewing area. And I guess since there's so many and it's so complex, the best way to say this is if you've got lightning and thunder in the area, if the rain's coming down heavily, if you begin to get some hail, just consider yourself under a severe thunderstorm warning because it could be very dangerous and change very, very quickly. Also, we have that one tornado warning in effect that is in the northern part of Warren County, does not include the city of Lebanon. Okay, it includes the northern part of the county north of Lebanon, and if you're in that part of Warren County, it'd be a good idea if you took cover immediately. So here's a little bit better perspective on that. City of Lebanon, a few of the suburbs just north of the city of Lebanon included in that, and then this wedge-shaped area from Wayne Township over to Franklin Township up to the county line is in that tornado warning. We've had no reports of damage. We've had no reports of a touchdown. Everything on radar is showing some rotation, and we'll take a look at that again in just a minute. But right now we also need to talk about some of the severe thunderstorm warnings out there. Kelso Township, the northern part of Dearborn County, on up to St. Leon into the southern part of Franklin County, the southwestern part of Butler County, which includes Morgan Township right there, all the way down into Hamilton County at North Bend, including Miamitown, is under a severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-an-hour winds, the possibility of large damaging hail. And Hamilton County, the northern part of Hamilton County now, is under another warning that includes Springfield Township, that includes all the northern parts. If you're going, let's say, up 27 into Butler County, anything in that part of the northern part of the county is under that severe thunderstorm warning. And that same warning is the one that takes in most of Butler County. That includes Hamilton, that includes Trenton, you can see right there, and that includes Franklin Township over near Middletown and all the areas all the way up to the border or to the county line with Preble County. Warren County, most of Warren County is now included in a severe thunderstorm warning. I just heard my alarm go off. Give me a second here. Okay, they reissued a severe thunderstorm warning for Dearborn and Franklin counties. We should see that here in just a second. If I pull the map back this way and down a little bit, there you see it. Now, Laurel, Brookville, almost all of Franklin County under a severe thunderstorm warning. Same thing, 60-mile-an-hour winds, large hail. All thunderstorms have dangerous lightning. In addition to that, torrential rainfall could cause some flash flooding, as we've been talking about for the past couple of days. So if you're out and about or about to go out and about, watch out for those low spots, those areas that you know about, excuse me, in your neck of the woods that are prone to high water because they could very easily have some of that. The far, far eastern part of Franklin County is not in the severe thunderstorm warning, but it is included in that tornado watch. All of Decatur County now and all of Ripley County also under a severe thunderstorm warning. Okay, a new tornado warning has now been issued. Let's take a look at this and let's back up here and take a look at it a little bit closer. If I move this up a little, you can see the first tornado warning was here that bottomed out right there, that point near Lebanon. The new one is a little bit farther west. It includes the north of the Butler County line, but it includes most of eastern Butler County. So Middletown, Trenton is involved in that, Franklin Township, anywhere from the county line with Preble County down to right around Deerfield Township, you are also under a tornado warning. That warning also goes into Warren County, so Lebanon is now included in that. Franklin Township to the north and west of Lebanon is included in that, and so it's most of the western part of Warren County that is also now included in a tornado warning. Now remember, these tornado warnings are not issued because of a touchdown, not because anybody sighted a tornado. They're radar indicated tornado warnings, meaning the radar saw rotation, so there's nothing as far as a damaging tornado on the ground at the present time, but there could be very, very quickly. So that's why the National Weather Service has issued those tornado warnings. We're taking a look then a little bit further south. Again, the western part of Hamilton County, a good portion of southeast Indiana. And as you can see, this is getting so complex. The easiest thing for you to do is if there's thunder and lightning, just consider yourself either under a warning, about to be under a warning, or just taking cover because it's a good idea, because there's just so much going on right now that, that it's really hard to keep track of all of it. So let's put the radar back on here, and you can see what's going on. Now notice how the storms blow up over central Indiana. They head eastward, and then they begin to dip southward, just what the model said. As they do that, they're beginning to lose a little bit of their strength. And so what we're looking at here is from Greensburg, Indiana, over to Butler County, over into Clinton County, and now sinking southward into Hamilton, soon to be into Claremont County. You see the rain there. Let me walk over to the computer here. I'm going to hit a couple buttons so that we can look at this in a little bit more detail. Okay, we're just going to turn into now, zoom in a little bit here. And I'll be right back with you. We've got a good view of radar across the Fox 19 Now viewing area. So what we're looking at here in the west is, notice it's just turned in, instead of seeing individual thunderstorm cells now, they've all kind of merged. As the thunderstorms begin to lose their power, they often do that. And so we've got heavy rainfall covering all of Decatur County, most of Franklin County, a little bit of Fayette County here, and the northern part of Ripley and most of Dearborn County. So most of southeast Indiana is under a severe thunderstorm warning, also under a tornado watch. In addition to that, the heavy rainfall could cause some flash flooding at any time in the next couple of hours. That rainfall is coming down quite heavily, and you've got a long stretch of it. So if you're in Brookville, it's just starting to rain, you've got a good hour of really heavy rain coming down, and that could lead to small streams rising fairly quickly. Further to the southeast, over parts of Dearborn County, lots of heavy rainfall there. Then if we turn our attention to the Ohio part of this, you can see that here is Butler County right in here, Milford Township. There's Franklin Township, and most of Butler County covered with very heavy rainfall. Again, most of those areas under severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings. And then what we have coming our way in the next couple of hours is more of that rainfall. That rainfall is going to continue to come down quite heavily, and it will eventually sink off to the south and east. We'll get a break, and then the models are all saying another wave comes through after midnight, and by tomorrow morning, we are looking at some fairly heavy rainfall around sunrise or around dawn. So let's take another look at all this. There's so much here that, excuse me, it's very difficult to keep track of it all and to kind of make sense of it, especially if you're looking at this. So let's go ahead and turn off all the watches and warnings, and you can see the precipitation alone. And this makes it a little bit better picture here. Give me a second, I'm going to take a quick drink. Okay, that should get me through for a while. So take a look at southeast Indiana from Connorsville down to Greensburg to Sand Creek Township, the northern part of Ripley County, most of Dearborn County, and most of Franklin County. Heavy rain, lightning and thunder, some of the rain torrential, also most of that area under one form of a severe thunderstorm warning or the other. Basically, everybody in southeast Indiana, except for Ohio and Switzerland counties, are under the tornado watch also. When we get into Ohio, most of Hamilton County is dry now, but from the west to the west, it's moving in. It'll make it to downtown Cincinnati in just a few minutes. Most of Butler County has got rain, some of that quite heavy. So wind gusts, we haven't had any reports of damage. We haven't had any reports of tornado touchdowns. What we have had is quite a few warnings and quite a lot of lightning and heavy rainfall. The northern part of Warren County, from Franklin Township over through just south of Spring Valley over into the Waynesville area, there is some more rainfall there. And then to the south, you can see, if we drag the map up here a little bit, only a few scattered showers across parts of northern Kentucky. I apologize, my allergies are bothering me, and it's hard to talk for 20 minutes in a row here without getting a little choked up. Okay, so let's go back. I'm going to go over here, turn off the radar, turn the warnings and that back on. We'll summarize all those. I still have no reports of damage or anything. So right now, all the warnings have been issued not because there's been a report of damage, but because the radar has indicated, and that's actually a good thing. It may seem like it's not, but if you know ahead of time, you can take cover much more quickly. Okay, so we've got the rain off. We're going to turn back on the warnings in that right there and drag the map a little bit, and now you've got an idea of what's going on here. Okay, so the tornado watch in the red extends to the Ohio River. That includes almost all of southeast Indiana, not Ohio or Switzerland counties. Doesn't include northern Kentucky, but it does include areas as far south as the Ohio River and Brown, Claremont counties. Also includes Highland County. Also, notice severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for all of Decatur County, almost all of Franklin County, a good portion of Dearborn County, most of the northern two-thirds of Ripley County. And this severe thunderstorm warning includes the western part of Hamilton County and southwestern Butler. And of course, another one covers this strip around Springfield Township. So basically, Springfield Township, Springdale, Sharonville, over into the Loveland area, which is at the junction there of the three counties. Butler County, most of it under a severe thunderstorm warning. Warren County under a severe thunderstorm warning. And the tornado warnings continue up to the north. Those tornado warnings right here include the eastern part of Butler County and the northern part of Warren County, along with this western part of Warren County here also. So again, I want to emphasize that we've had no damage reports yet. That's not unusual. Oftentimes damage reports take a while to come in, especially at night or on a Friday night like this when people are out and about doing other things. In addition to that, these two tornado warnings were issued based on rotation seen by radar. So we have not had a report of a tornado touchdown. We haven't had a sighting of a funnel cloud. We have what the radar sees. And the National Weather Service meteorologists saw that because of the history of these storms earlier today, where there were several touchdowns from Indiana into Ohio, well north of the Fox 19 Now viewing area. They thought it was a good idea for there to be warnings issued. So those warnings include a good portion of Warren and Butler counties. Those are the only two parts of our viewing area that are under tornado warnings. Now let me zoom in on that. We'll get a little bit better fix on where those warnings exist. So if we zoom way in here, you can see some more communities, and those communities then will show you where they are. So the tornado warning basically starts at Westchester, goes through Liberty Township up to Trenton, Madison Township, Lemon Township, and Butler County. In Warren County, it includes Lebanon. It does not include South Lebanon, and so anywhere from Lebanon westward to the county line with Butler County is in the tornado warning. The first tornado warning that was issued starts just north of Lebanon and goes to the north. It does not include Franklin Township. It does include Wayne Township. So there's a good portion of Butler County right there that is under tornado warnings. Now, if we turn the radar information back on, we can see what the current status is. And what we'll have here, again, what I don't see, I haven't looked at the rotation for a few minutes yet since I've been on the air, but what I don't see is individual cells. I see what we call merging cells at this point. Oftentimes, once the thunderstorms grow, they begin to merge. As they weaken a little bit, we end up with a big blob of rainfall. And so you can see there's a hail core right there around Franklin Township, probably some hail coming down. There was a little bit of hail indicated near Madison Township. I don't see that now. And then if you get over here near Cowan Lake and near Wilmington, those magenta spots are the possibility of some large hail falling also. So you've got, even though you've got tornado warnings in effect, right now it doesn't look like there's anything that has touched down. It looks like the spin has begun to decrease a little bit. They often do that, but they also often sometimes will, the spin will weaken, the spin will strengthen again, it will weaken. We call those pulsing thunderstorms, and they may be doing that. So the reason they keep a tornado warning in effect when it looks like nothing has touched down and nothing will touch down is because those storms will often pulse. And so they'll spin up, they'll weaken and kind of take a break, they'll spin back up, and they can, multiple tornadoes can be spawned by the same storm over a different time period. Okay, so if I zoom out a little bit more here, we're going to take a look at the rain is one big blob here. And again, you can see the rainfall, it's heavy. And again, some of this is really heavy rainfall. Torrential rainfall extends from Highland County, just the northern part of Highland County from Hillsborough northward. The heavy rain extends across all of Clinton County, the northern part here of Warren County, where the severe thunderstorms and the tornado warnings are in effect. Almost all of Butler County has some heavy rainfall. It's beginning to lighten up in parts of Fayette County. Not much going on in Union County, but a lot of rainfall over the rest of southeast Indiana. And if you remember, those areas had severe thunderstorm warnings, basically covered the entire thing. So because there are so many different warnings in so many different spots, the best bet that you can do is remember that if the weather begins to get noisy, if the rain becomes coming down in buckets, if you get a lot of lightning, see some hail, that means the storm is strong, possibly severe, and possibly a big, big problem. So what you ought to do there is, essentially what you ought to do at that time is take cover. So the minute in a situation like this, it's not like, oh, it's just a light little thunderstorm. These are big thunderstorms. They're beginning to merge. There may be spots that aren't under warnings to get some very heavy rainfall and some high winds. So your best bet when all this happens is to take cover and take cover immediately whenever all the signs are there. The rumbling thunder, the lightning, the heavy rain, the winds, all that other stuff. Now, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to go take a look at some of this stuff and get some ideas if there have been any damage or reports of tornadoes. I'm going to throw it to Rob Williams right now, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, we're going to allow you to catch your breath.
Thank you.
And regroup. I know that's not easy, especially when you're in the Weather Center alone. So we're going to allow you to get your ducks in a row and kind of catch your breath. And say thank you very much for joining us. I know that we're breaking into programming, but we break into programming when we think it is needed. And in this case, it is needed. It's not for all of our viewers. As Steve mentioned, it's from Westchester points north, right? We do have our storm tracker out and about. We're waiting for it to get into position in terms of showing something that we could use. But I wanted to use this time to tell you about our Fox 19 weather app, right? I know we talk about it a lot, but I think this is important. So if you download our Fox 19 weather app, it will actually give you updates based on where you are. So if I was living in Westchester, all points north, then this would start ringing. Steve's voice would tell me like, oh, lightning has been detected in your area or heavy rain has been detected in your area, but it's based on where you are. I'm not getting those alerts right now because I'm in the downtown area, and right now the downtown area is not affected by potential severe weather like we're seeing up north. If we can put that radar up once again and just show people what they're dealing with in terms of the map and in terms of the weather situation, Steve Horstmeyer has caught his breath, and I guess my eye goes right to that little pink triangle in the middle of your screen.
Okay, and what is different about this right now, before Rob started talking and gave me a break, is that the most of the tornado warnings have been allowed to expire, and this one is a new one that's been issued that extends from Lebanon to Deerfield Township to just to the east of Hamilton. So it's a good portion of the eastern part of Butler County, a good portion of the western part of Warren County, and basically both of these, this is one tornado warning, it's for one cell, it expands to 2 counties, and again, it's a radar indicated tornado. It does not mean a tornado was touched down, it's a radar indicated tornado. Now I'm going to turn on the rainfall here, and we'll take a look and see what we can see as far as the storms go, and stop it there. And you can see an indication of rotation. I'll show you what I mean right here. So we're looking at, you can see the outline of the tornado warning right there. Notice how the edge of the rainfall curves around like this. So right in here, this, right near Deerfield Township, is what we call a hook echo. Now, from the way I see this, the greatest chance of a tornado touching down at this point would be on the western margin of this, so from Deerfield Township north to just east of Hamilton. So if you're in that part of Butler County, if you're in Warren County just to the east of that, you definitely want to take cover immediately. I'm not kidding. This is something you don't want to mess around with. As we zoom in here, you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, what you're looking at here, you see the rain, the heavy rainfall wrapping around like this. So right in here, from Westchester to Liberty Township to Lemon Township, that's the area that's wrapping around. And right here is the hook echo, and this is where the most likely spot for a tornado would be right now. It would be right along the Butler County, Warren County line, north of Westchester and north of Deerfield Township. But I want to emphasize that this is still radar indicated tornado warning, meaning that there's been no touchdowns reported. Still have no damage reports, but as I mentioned, that's not unusual at this time of night, and people are still indoors. They don't want to go out into the storm, so they don't put themselves in harm's way to take a look at that. But you can see that right there. That curvature is what we call a hook echo, and that includes Westchester, Deerfield Township, and that is where there could be a tornado if the rotation continues on this storm. Now, the other warnings that were issued, the one further north here in Butler County and the one further north in Warren County, both expired, and we've had no reports of damage, no reports of tornado touching down. So the good news is those were indicated by radar. The storms didn't spin up enough to create a tornado, and it looks like, unless things change or somebody comes in with a report of a storm or a tornado touching down, that those areas escaped without any problem. But here is the most suspicious area, right here. You always hear about meteorologists talking about the hook echo, and that's basically the air flowing into the storm like this. A few thousand feet above the ground is what we call the mesocyclone, rotating counterclockwise, and those are the ingredients for a tornado to form right there. So tornado warning is in effect. It includes the eastern part of Butler County, the western part of Warren County, and let's see, it looks like a new one, and they've issued a new tornado warning. I'll show it to you here in just a minute. That's what this alarm is about. But overall, here's the first tornado warning that was issued right here from Lebanon to South Lebanon to Deerfield Township to Westchester to Liberty Township. That kind of defines the circulation, and this little hook right here is an indication that there's enough spin here that a tornado could touch down. Now, the other tornado warning that they just issued is to the south and west of this. If we go down here into southeast Indiana, if we turn the radar off once again, you can see the new tornado warning, okay? It's pretty easy to see the northern edge of that. It's right in Manchester in southeast Indiana. It includes Hogan Township, includes Dillsboro. Doesn't quite include Caesar Creek. Caesar Creek is a spot in Indiana. We have a Caesars Creek in Ohio. It includes Rising Sun, it includes Verona, and essentially all of Ohio County here, and most of Switzerland County, or most of southern Dearborn County, it looks like. So from Manchester to Dillsboro to Caesar Creek, Hogan Township, does not include Lawrenceburg or Greendale. It includes Verona along the river, and Rising Sun is the next tornado warning that the National Weather Service has issued. And according to what I have here, same thing. Radar indicated rotation in the thunderstorm. That radar indicated rotation could be enough for a tornado to spin up and touch down, but no touchdown as far as we know right now, and there have been no reports of that. So if we put radar back on here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and here's another thing that is kind of indicative of the possibility of tornadoes. Not only do we have hook echoes, but you see how this leading edge is like that? Well, it's a little rotation right here. There's a little rotation right here. And both of these areas could be the site of where a tornado would spin up. So this is essentially showing the air flowing into and up through the thunderstorm at this notch and at this notch. And these are potential hook echoes beginning to wrap around the leading edge of the storm, and those could be sites of a couple of tornadoes also. When you look at this kind of in a wider view, which I'll show you here right now, you'll see that essentially it's a big cell, and the leading edge of it is distinctly different right here. So you can see the leading edge right here is pretty smooth, and then we get into this kind of scalloped looking area. So there's the center of rotation here, north of rising sun. There's a center of rotation here near Cedar Creek, a little bit east of that. And Weather Service thinks that there's enough rotation there that potentially a tornado could spin up and touch down. But again, all these tornado warnings have been because of radar indicated rotation, not actual touchdowns, not actual sightings, and not actual damage. I want to caution you, though, that damage reports often lag the event by several hours. One, people don't want to get out into the storm. Two, it's night now, it's dark. People don't want to get themselves in danger running into a power line. And sometimes they just want to stay inside until they're really sure it's over. So it's not unusual for there to be no damage reports this early on in the situation. But usually if there's a lot of damage, the word gets out pretty quickly, and we know about it fairly quickly. So in this case, without that, that's kind of a good sign at this point so far. So tornado warning in southeast Indiana. Let me turn the rain off one more time. Okay, what you're going to see here, that tornado warning.
Has been detected near your location.
And you probably just heard my voice there. That is from the First Alert weather app, where it just said, lightning has been detected in my location. I'm in downtown Cincinnati, so lightning is closing in here. So again, it does not include Versailles in Ripley County. This tornado warning does not include Lawrenceburg or Greendale. It does not include Cedar Creek, but gets really close. It does include Rising Sun, and so the area here that you see is where the tornado warning is. And as that cell moves south and eastward, we can anticipate that there may be an extension of that tornado warning into Boone County. So if you're in Boone County from Florence over to Petersburg, south to where Gallatin County begins, into the Walton area, you may pretty soon have a tornado warning for your area. And again, we've had no reports of touchdowns, no reports of damage. Let's go ahead and take a look at our roof camera. You just heard my voice there on the First Alert weather app saying lightning has been detected. And you can see lightning. If you look here, more than likely, the lightning will be looking, if we look to the north, the camera would look better because it's coming in from the northwest and the west. And there's downtown Cincinnati, and there you see the lightning kind of lighting up the sides of the buildings, and lots and lots and lots of lightning. And you can see it there in the distance beyond Clifton. So overall, very, very busy night in the tri-state. Doesn't affect traffic right now because there's no rain coming down here in Queensgate to the west of downtown Cincinnati. But overall, lots of lightning, lots of noise tonight, plenty of rainfall, the possibility of flash flooding, and the possibility of isolated tornadoes. Again, no tornadoes yet reported. So that's the one in southeast Indiana. Rising Sun, Cedar Creek, not quite to Lawrenceburg, not into Versailles, but if you're in that part of southeast Indiana, take cover immediately. We have another tornado warning in effect. Can't forget that one. Let's go back to it so those of you that have just joined us can see where that one is. And there it is, the magenta polygon there. It extends from Lebanon to just south of Lemon Township, right into Liberty Township, right into a little bit of Westchester, and then back over. It does not include South Lebanon or Deerfield Township, but it does include Lebanon. If you're in Loveland, Loveland is right there where Claremont, Hamilton, and Warren meet. You're not included in that either. So we are looking at another tornado warning, that tornado warning again, from a radar-indicated tornado. If we go back to the rainfall here, what you'll see, okay, is we looked at that last time where we could see a distinct hook echo. Well, let's see what happens now. And it seems to have lost its, kind of lost its definition. But if you look, let's see here. Okay, so there's Westchester, Deerfield Township, Sims Township right here, which is essentially part of, or kind of in the same location that Loveland is. If we drag the map up here a little bit, there is some rotation indicated maybe here in your Sims Township, but you don't see a distinct hook like we saw before. Here, another maybe a little bit of rotation near Finneytown and Springfield Township, but not that much. And again, this is when you do tornado coverage, you have to realize that tornadoes span a big, big range of strengths. The big ones, the ones that grab the headlines, the EF3s, 4s, and 5s, always are very easy to see with a big, distinct hook echo, usually a single cell, sometimes multiple cells. The smaller, weaker situation, even though these are strong thunderstorms, it's weaker than some of those monster tornadoes. Sometimes it's very difficult to pick up exactly where the tornado would be. But in this case, again, that kind of rough edge here, the rough leading edge, indicates inflow here, wrap around here, inflow here, wrap around here. And that's why the National Weather Service put a tornado warning out for this one, because there's enough rotation to cause this, maybe not enough rotation to cause a tornado, but it's better to know ahead of time than it is to play catch up. So as far as the latest situation goes, let's see. I just got another. Is that a new tornado warning? Yep. Let me turn off the precipitation. And I said that they might extend that tornado warning into Boone County. They just have. So let me get everybody that's in that part of our viewing area up to date. Okay, there is the new tornado warning that the National Weather Service has issued. The original one is right here from Manchester to Dillsboro to Cedar Creek to Rising Sun to Verona. The new one includes Greendale and Lawrenceburg. It stops just south of Bright. It includes North Bend and Miami Township. It includes Hebron at the airport. It includes Florence. It includes Taylor Mill. It goes all the way across Boone, Kenton, and Campbell counties and stops right there at the Ohio River. It also includes parts of Delhi Township, Miami Township, and the far southwestern corner there of Hamilton County, but does not include downtown Cincinnati at the present time. So we're going to keep an eye open for that. So if you look at this, all these colors may be a little bit on the confusing side. The red background, that is the tornado watch. That does include all of Hamilton County, all of Claremont County. The magenta here, that is the tornado warning. So there's two of those in effect. Tornado warnings this time are issued specifically because radar sees rotation, not because a tornado has touched down. The orange colors, those are the severe thunderstorm warnings, and you can see they're pretty much everywhere. And the yellow here is a severe thunderstorm watch that is now in effect south of the tornado watch. So we are talking about a very, very busy map with lots of stuff going on. So let's go ahead and turn the rainfall on this one, see what we've got. If we turn the radar on, I don't see anything that would lead me to think there's going to be a big spin up here. But again, you've got kind of a ragged leading edge here. You've got some really heavy rain from North Bend and Miami Township down along the Ohio River into Lawrenceburg and Greendale. It's moving into Florence as we speak. The rain's picking up in the Hebron area. If you're in Hebron, it's picking up pretty quickly now. Crosby Township getting hefty rainfall. It's about to move into Springfield Township. Here's downtown Cincinnati. So the leading edge of the heavy rain is moving through Delhi Township now, moving into downtown Cincinnati. And wherever you are, it's going to pick up pretty quickly, and it's going to be heavy for quite some time. A good hour to an hour and a half in most locations, you'll get heavy rainfall. So if you're out in it, or if you know anybody that's out in it and you've talked to them on the phone, make sure they understand that travel may be very, very slow, and there might be some high water, some ponding on the roads as the next couple hours progress and the rain continues to fall. So the new tornado warning includes most of Boone County, parts of Hamilton County, parts of Kenton and Campbell counties. And if I turn the rainfall off again, if you just joined us, I can show you the communities that are involved in those tornado warnings. Okay, we turn off radar, move the map a little bit. And so 2 tornado warnings in effect. The one goes from Manchester through Dillsboro, Cedar Creek, over to Rising Sun and Verona. So if you're in the area around those communities or in between those communities that I just mentioned, you're under the tornado warning, and you should be taking cover immediately. Don't wait around. Do it now. From Bright down to the Ohio River, then eastward, so that includes almost all of Boone County. Just a small part of southern Boone County is not in that tornado warning. It includes a good portion of the central part of Kenton County, just a little bit of Campbell County here, and terminates right at the Ohio River. So it's terminates north of New Richmond, just across the river from Pierce Township and south of Anderson Township. So if you're in Florence, if you're in Taylor Mill, if you're in Union, Kentucky, if you're in Hebron, Lawrenceburg, if you're across the river in Miami Township, North Bend, if you're up near Bright, Indiana, if you're in Lawrenceburg or Greendale, you are under a tornado warning. And you shouldn't mess with this. You should take cover immediately, because earlier on today, the storms that spun up unexpectedly dropped tornadoes. And we had to play catch up for a little while because we expected there to be rotation, but it seems like there was more rotation than any of the models said. And so we got more tornado activity than anybody anticipated. So say that to me again. Okay, so we just had a report that there might be a touchdown near Burlington and Hebron. So first of all, if you're in Burlington or Hebron, please take cover immediately. We're going to turn the radar back on here. We're going to zoom in. And what I'm going to do here with this is I'm going to actually change over to what we call velocity or rotation. And sometimes when you do that, you can see where the tornadoes are. I don't see any rotation. What you're looking for usually is something like this. This is the only possibility, right in here. You see the dark red, see the brighter green. The brighter green is rain moving towards the radar. So this will be moving this way. This is rain moving away from the radar like this. And so there could be a circulation right here. So here's Hebron, here's Burlington. This is to the north and west of that, just to the east of the Ohio River, because the Ohio River takes quite a bend here. So if you're in the northern part of Boone County, it's pretty rural up this way. Make sure that you take cover immediately, because again, I don't know if you can see it at home, but there's a little stripe of bright green right here. Here's some red right here, and this kind of indicates rotation like this. And that rotation is where there could be a tornado. Now, sometimes people that aren't trained at it, or especially when it's getting dark, they see a rain shaft or they see a really ragged cloud bottom. It's getting dark. It's hard to see through some of the heavy rain. They report that they saw a tornado, and in fact, it wasn't a tornado. But in this case, I'm going to say that, okay, Hebron and Burlington are right here, just to the west here. Again, you can see what may be some rotation in the northern part of Boone County. Now, that rotation could be enough. It's usually a little tighter than this. In other words, it's usually more of a spot on a map of this size. This is pretty broad, so I'm thinking that if there is any kind of a spin up, it will be a weak funnel, not a well-organized tornado. But overall, this is what we're talking about right here, the possibility of some rotation. Not quite to Hebron, not quite to Burlington, but just to the northwest there in the northern part of Boone County. And there are additional spots here in the western part of Boone County that could also end up with a little bit of spin up here. If we move the map up again, you can see this right in here. So the red versus the green, it just is kind of like right next to each other. There's no real spot, and the stuff that we just looked at was a little bit more organized a couple sweeps ago. So overall, Boone County is under that tornado warning. This is the possibility right here of a tornado. But again, no confirmation, no touchdown, no damage reports, no visual evidence like video. So right now we have to say, based on radar, possible a tornado could touch down in northern Boone County, but nothing reported as of yet. So if we turn back to the regular, what we call precipitation and reflectivity, what you also see here is, you see this little magenta spot just to the west of Hebron? Okay, that is torrential rainfall, maybe mixed with a little bit of hail, and that is something you have to watch out for. I mean, in other words, there's quick flash flooding can occur in a storm like that. So Burlington to Hebron and westward, thunderstorm activity, torrential rainfall, the possibility of a tornado. Now let me turn all the precipitation off once again, and we're going to take a kind of a tour of everything that's going on. There's a lot of it, okay? We'll zoom out, start with the wide view here, and I'll be walking back and forth to the keyboard to make these changes. The yellow that you see there, that is a severe thunderstorm watch. It's in effect until after midnight. The red is the tornado watch that includes a good portion of our viewing area. It does not include Decatur County anymore, but it does include most of the viewing area north of the Ohio River and not into northern Kentucky. Northern Kentucky under a severe thunderstorm watch. And again, you can see that there's quite a mishmash. There's so many different warnings that have been issued, dropped, expired, come back up, reissued, that it's very, very difficult to, in a simple sentence, describe where those warnings are and where the most danger is. Of course, the most danger is where the tornado warnings are in effect. But the best rule on a night like this, when there's so much going on, and it's going on so quickly and it's changing so quickly, is just to assume, as the thunderstorms begin to roll over your area, that they're severe or near severe, and to stay inside, take cover, stay away from glass, and try to make yourself as safe as possible. Go to your safe spot if you feel like that's necessary. A lot of these thunderstorms are very noisy with a lot of wind and torrential rainfall. Okay, so we're going to start zooming in. We'll go over each and every one of the warnings so that wherever you are in the tri-state, you can tell what kind of danger you may be in. Okay, starting off to the west and southwest of the city, we have severe thunderstorm warnings in the orange that cover most of Franklin County, most of Ripley County, most of Dearborn County, and all the way down into Switzerland and Ohio counties. In addition to that, the tornado warnings that are in effect, again, cover a large area here. Most of the southern parts of Dearborn County down to Cedar Creek over to Rising Sun. The other tornado warning includes for areas from Bright southward to the Ohio River, across the river into Boone County, almost all of northern Boone County, actually all of northern Boone County included in a tornado warning here. It extends almost down to the Walton area. That tornado warning also includes North Bend, parts of Miami Township, parts of Delhi along the Ohio River, not downtown Cincinnati though, and not the west side, Western Hills or any of that, but kind of stays off to the south and west there. It includes Florence. If we zoom in to Kenton and Campbell counties, I can give you some areas where that also is in effect. So we zoom in here. So from Florence, if you go eastward, if you're in Independence, if you're in Ryland Heights, if you're in Taylor Mill, if you're in Edgewood, Fort Wright, Villa Hills, you're under that tornado warning also. And notice, downtown Cincinnati is right here under the banner. It is not included in that tornado warning. This is the Licking River right here, working its way northward. So Highland Heights is included in that. Alexandria is right on the edge of the tornado warning. And also on the edge of a couple severe thunderstorm warnings. So if you're in Alexandria and severe weather approaches, just do the safe thing. Take cover until the danger has passed. Again, those tornado warnings in effect because radar indicated rotation in the thunderstorm, possibly enough rotation for there to be a tornado spin up, but we've had no reports, no confirmations, no sightings, and no damage reports so far. So far, so good. And again, you can see the tornado warnings here. A large area covers parts of the three different states and parts of a number of counties. And the best advice I can give you when the weather tends to deteriorate and it approaches you, take cover immediately, wait till it calms down, and come out of your safe spot. Okay, the other tornado warning that was in effect, let's see what's going on up in Butler and Warren counties. Notice that is gone, okay? So they either canceled it or they let it expire, but the tornado warning that it was in the eastern part of Butler County, the western part of Warren County, from Lebanon almost over to Hamilton, has either expired or been canceled and is no longer in effect. So those of you in Butler and Warren counties, you no longer have the possibility of a tornado touching down. You still have some heavy thunderstorms to go through, but at least that worry is gone. If we turn the rainfall back on, you can see what's going on there. The rainfall will indicate basically that that a good portion of Butler County is now down to just a little bit of shower activity and still a lot of rain over in Warren County. Okay. Okay, and National Weather Service has also just issued a flash flood warning for the Springboro area in our viewing area. So let's talk about the rainfall first. So Westchester, the heavy rain is still over you. It's moving out. Liberty Township, it's beginning to lighten up. Still some good showers from Milford Township to Riley Township, but generally things in Butler County have lightened up quite a bit. As we head into Warren County, Franklin Township, the rain is down to light. Lebanon, it's lightening up as we speak, still raining heavily in South Lebanon. Harlan Township has got a lot. Wayne Township and Waynesville still have a lot of rainfall, but that is also moving off to the south and east, and it will lighten up. If we zoom out, you will see if there's anything else on the way into to Warren County, and you can see that there really isn't much else there. Okay, essentially what's happened is what the models have said. Everything's sinking south and eastward. Drier air between Indianapolis and Cincinnati is moving in. The rainfall's tapering off in Butler County. Will begin to taper off in Warren County, but still a lot to go. Now I'm going to go take a look at these individual storms, see which ones look the worst, see what else is happening, and I'm going to toss to Rob right now, and he's got the latest for you. Rob, what do you have for us?
Yeah, we want to just check power outages for you right now. That's a look at the Duke energy map. I have it pulled up on my phone, so I'll give you a better idea of where we're seeing many of the power outages. There are about 1,000 customers without power in Mason going east. There's also a large number of power outages in the Kings Mills area near the Little Miami River and Grandin Road. The other big spot where we're seeing a lot of outages is in the Middletown area, so north of there. I'm seeing it mostly in West Middletown and pretty much along Trenton Franklin Road. So it's West Middletown traveling north. And the other place where I'm seeing a lot of power outages is in Middletown along Marshall Road and All Points East. So most of the power outages we're seeing are in the northern part of our viewing area, but we are seeing some other power outages a little bit closer to the city, but those all tend to be small. There are about 404 power outages in the Springdale area. And then in northern Kentucky, the major power outages are the area where Steve was following, where there was a possible tornado touchdown in the Hebron, Florence, kind of Burlington area. So we're following all the power outages for you. I've been watching this page now for about the last 20 minutes, and it's gone up from 1,000 outages to 3,000 outages. Here's a look at what the roads look like right now. This is I-75 traveling north. It's our Toyota Storm Tracker. In it, you can see the rain coming down sideways. It is hard to see, and you also see that right there, lightning. And if you had the weather app, your weather app would tell you audibly that there is lightning in your area and heavy rain as well. It's a good time to remind you that if you don't have our free mobile weather app, it's good to download. It's passive. You don't have to check it out. If something happens in your area, where you are exactly, voice, which will say, hey, look, lightning has been detected in your area. Heavy rain has been detected in your area. So once again, all you have to do is pick up your phone from where you are on your couch and scan that QR code, and it'll take you to the place where you need to go to download the mobile news app. So let's look at I-75 once again. The last time I checked I-75, it was along Paddock Road. That was, now we're north of Ronald Reagan. So it's I-75 north of Ronald Reagan. Our storm tracker is kind of driving into the storm here and driving into the area where we're seeing the most power outages. Mason and Middletown is where we're seeing most of the power outages. Those two areas have about 2,000 power outages, so 2/3 of all the power outages that we're seeing right now. I'm just going to double check this map again. And yeah, we're holding right now at about 3,000 power outages across the tri-state. I know Steve has been looking at a multitude of radars and maps. Can you glean anything when you look at this video, Steve Horstmeyer, of the heavy rain and the lightning? What are you able to glean from this?
Well, first of all, you see the wind in the trees, so the wind is picking up. It doesn't look like severe level gusts at this point, but notice the trees right there, the wind's going pretty good. The rain's coming down, but not heavily, but look at all the lightning, okay? Now, the lightning is reflecting off the bottom of the cloud, so it kind of spreads across the sky. But there is plenty of lightning, and this will be plenty of lightning throughout the night. And the rain will come down much more heavily than this. You can see a long distance out in the direction you're going here. And that tells you the rain's not that heavy. When the rain causes the visibility to drop considerably, and we've all felt that, that's when it's torrential. This is heavy enough to slow traffic down if there were enough cars out in any one location. And there's some wind, there's plenty of lightning, but at this point there's nothing extreme. You don't see the trees bending over. You see them kind of wafting back and forth in the wind, and overall that's typical of what most areas will get. Not everybody's going to have rain that's as light as you see there. Almost everybody's going to see plenty of lightning. There's little doubt about that. And lightning, as you know, is with every thunderstorm, and that's very dangerous. Okay, so now watch this precipitation just begin to sink south and eastward. Now, so it's moving south and eastward, and watch how it's individual cells that are popping up here. Watch how the individual cells merge into a line right there and turn into a big blob. That's all an indication that this stuff is beginning to weaken. As the individual cells merge into one, they can still have heavy rain, they can still have severe thunderstorm winds. They can still be quite a big problem, but they're beginning to weaken, and they're getting to be old age storms, as we would say. So they're moving south and eastward. Again, as you look at the last frames here, the other thing in our future is the fact that the rainfall is moving south and east, and it's beginning to end in the northwestern part of our viewing area. So if we zoom in here, heavy rain extends from Carroll and Gallatin counties, across the river here into southeast Indiana, up into Boone County, to Lawrenceburg, Greendale, still in the bright area. Versailles is starting to move out. Brookville down to some light shower activity according to radar. As you head eastward from Boone County, you go into Kenton County. The rainfall is quite heavy in western Kenton County. As you head into Campbell County, the heaviest of the rainfall is not quite there yet. It's not quite to New Richmond. Notice how some of the storms have gone through Loveland and Goshen, headed towards Mount Orb. These are heading more to the east, and there's this little spot here along the Ohio River from, well, New Richmond into Anderson Township, just about to downtown Cincinnati, where the rain is very, very light. Most of Hamilton County now covered with heavy rain. It's becoming much more spotty over Butler County. In fact, it's beginning to end in the western part of Butler County. And then as you head into Warren County, lots of torrential to heavy rainfall. The northern half of Claremont County, basically from Batavia, which is right about here, all the way up to Goshen, over into the Loveland area, up into Warren County, the rain is torrential. And most of Highland County, a good portion of Wilmington area in Clinton County. And then as you head southward, it hasn't really quite reached Lewis Township or West Union or any of the counties here south of the Ohio River to the southeast of the city. Now let's take a look. I'm going to take the rain back off here. We're going to see what's going on with the warnings. I haven't had any new warnings, severe warnings come out for a while now. You probably heard the beep in the background if you've been doing this. So if we turn off radar, turn the warnings back on, you will see that there's still quite a few of them around the tri-state. Just 1 second, there we go. And those tornado warnings continue. Now, if we zoom out a little bit, notice that you have pretty much nothing going on as far as warnings go from Fayette to Union to Franklin County. So you're pretty much out of the woods as far as severe activity there goes, although you might still have some heavy rain. When you head into Milford Township, Butler County, and Hamilton, into Warren County is pretty much calming down. Clinton County is calming down. The action now is mainly south of those areas. There's still these tornado warnings in effect. We'll take a look at those in a second. There's some new severe thunderstorm warnings out south of the tornado warnings from Owen County through Grant on into Bracken counties. And there's severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for a good portion, almost all of Claremont County, northern Brown County, and the southwestern part of Highland County, along with the northern part of Adams County. So let's look at those in more detail. Okay, if you look at these in more detail, what you'll find, let's go to the tornado warnings first. They're the most important ones. And again, while Rob was showing you the storm tracker information and telling you about the weather app, I was looking at the storms and looking for rotation. The rotation is really settled down. It's completely different than it was about an hour ago. And overall, what's going on with the rotation is that because those storms are merging into one big line, they're no longer rotating as much. They're still causing some heavy, heavy rainfall. The tornado warning continues from Bright south through Lawrenceburg and Greendale down to Verona along the Ohio River to Rising Sun. From there, you go eastward into Boone County, so that includes Petersburg, it includes Hebron, it includes Florence, all the way down to almost to the southern extent of Boone County. Okay, when you get into Kenton County, it does not include Piner, it does not include Visalia, it does include Taylor Mill, and it makes it all the way up here to the Ohio River, but does not include downtown Cincinnati. And in Hamilton County, parts of Delhi Township, Miami Township, the North Bend area are included in that tornado warning. But again, I just told you, I looked at those storms. There's still some rotation in them. The rotation right now is unimpressive, but I also told you earlier that they oftentimes will kind of settle down, spin back up, settle down, spin back up. And so the National Weather Service, in a case like this, is going to be extra cautious, not cancel the warning prematurely because spin up could occur again. And that could mean people let their guard down when they were under a warning and they're no longer vigilant. So it's much, much better to say, hey, keep the warning in effect, let people know as soon as we're really sure that it's not going to spin back up. So that's it with the tornado warnings. Again, the tornado warnings were all issued based on radar-indicated rotation within the thunderstorms. We've had a couple of reports from Hebron, around the Burlington area, over towards the western part of Boone County, across the river from the Lawrenceburg area, of maybe a tornado touching down there. The National Weather Service hasn't put anything out about that. They're pretty busy right now. We haven't had any reports of damage, and I really didn't see anything on radar that would make me think that there was anything substantial there. It might have just been a rain shaft or a ragged cloud bottom. But overall, we're going to take a look at that in more detail. We're going to pay attention to northern Boone County to see if, in fact, something did touch down there, because there were several reports from sources that we don't necessarily know what they're talking about or know how to see and spot a tornado when it's dark like this and raining. So we want to be cautious. We don't say there was a tornado, but there have been reports of maybe a tornado touching down there. We'll look into that in more detail, and we'll have more information, obviously, over the next couple of hours. So Florence is included in the tornado warning, as is Taylor Mill. Okay, let's head south a little bit. First before that, let me put the rainfall back on, and we'll see if there's anything that looks suspicious where that tornado warning is, okay? And it really doesn't. If you look at the rainfall here in the tornado warning area, it's really begun to break up. There's some heavier amounts of it. You see all this stuff right here. I don't see any indications of a hook echo. If there would be a tornado in this, it would probably be a leading edge one. And so right now, I don't see anything that would make me think that a tornado was spinning up in the northern part of Boone County there. Okay, let's take a look and see what it looks like if we take a look at something different here. We're going to look at radar, and we're going to take a look at the what we call velocity. And if we look at velocity, that gives you an idea of which way the winds are going. So talk about, okay, there's regular radar. And if you look at the regular radar here, you can see what I'm talking about. That there's just no, the storms we looked at before had that ragged leading edge, and this is a very smooth leading edge here. There are no indentations or anything that make you think that there's rotation going on, but it does kind of have that curved shape, which is an issue. Now, Ashley Smith is here, and Ashley, you're looking at velocity over in northern Kentucky, in parts of Boone and Kenton counties. Do you see anything where you would think that there is a tornado spinning up there?
No defined rotation showing up on velocity, that's for sure. you know, I can hear, I don't know if you can, but I can definitely hear the tornado warnings, or tornado sirens rather, going off. I'm sure they're going off all across the area where it is warned. But yeah, and you know, when I was driving in through the lightning strikes, kind of looked for rotation, didn't see anything visibly, but you know, it doesn't mean there isn't a touchdown.
Rain shafts that could have been
Did not
mistaken?
see anything like that.
Can we put Max 1 behind me, please? And I'll show you what Ashley was just talking about here. And Ashley is going to be doing the morning show tomorrow morning, so she's getting a really early start. I appreciate her coming in with a smile on her face to help out here on this very, very busy evening. But overall, the heaviest rainfall we see now is not far from Piner, and that may be an indication of some hail. We've had hail as large as 2 inches reported before. Okay, so let's go here. Again, we talked about this earlier. So the green and the red, well, you can see that they're just, when you're looking for a tornado, you're looking for a small kind of spot where you see rotation this way, rotation that way. You don't see that. You just see a line here, and that indicates the green is blowing towards the radar, the red is blowing away from the radar, and you don't see it concentrated in any one little spot, as Ashley mentioned. So we're not thinking, and that's consistent with what I saw when I was off camera looking at the rotation, that there's not that much going on right now as far as tornadoes go. But again, the warnings haven't really been canceled because they want to be extra cautious. The last thing you want to do is tell everybody the danger is gone and then have them injured or worse when a tornado touches down that they thought was no longer a possibility. And again, maybe right in here south of Independence, but still nothing that looks to me to indicate that there'd be much in the way of a tornado. So we'll put this into motion here, and you can see the shower and thunderstorm activity moving off to the south and east. That thunderstorm activity, again, very strong, torrential rainfall. How strong, heavy was the rain as you were coming in, Ashley?
It actually wasn't that bad where I was, but it's kind of intermittent. But at the leading edge, it was very heavy. And the lightning is the biggest thing. There's tremendous lightning out there.
And rumbles of thunder that
yes.
we're downtown now. So
yeah.
Okay, so again, we're looking at that activity. Now, if I back up here, Ashley just put the cone on here, which indicates how fast the storm is going, where it's going, and it says it'll be to Kincaid Lake by 10:02, and it will be to Falmouth by 10:07. And right now it's 17 or about 16 minutes until 10, so you're talking about 20 minutes before it gets into the Falmouth area, maybe a few minutes before that to get to Kincaid Lake down here, and that is in Pendleton County. So overall, again, tons of lightning. Look at all that lightning there. The activity is beginning, as I said, to merge into a solid line. We call that upscale change. In other words, the individual cells turn into a big line, and then we go from having wind and tornadoes being the main threat to heavy rain being the main threat, and that's what's happening now. So
yeah, there's lots of flood advisories, flood warnings,
right.
Obviously issued right now. The only tornado warning is, of course, for the, well, let me put it on.
Is that the same one in Boone County?
It's the same one, yes. Boone, Campbell, yes.
And I'm pretty sure that they're going to drop that pretty quickly because I don't see anything. But because there were some reports of perhaps a touchdown to the west of Burlington and Hebron, they may be keeping that up just in case. We don't know if that was an observer, if that was a member of the public, or how that report came out, but we have had the indication that there may have been a touchdown there. And of course, it all depends upon what the Weather Service finds at the end. They have to go do a survey if they think it was a tornado. Sometimes it'll turn out to be non-tornadic straight line winds. And so at this point, even though there may have been some damage in the northern part of Boone County to the west of Hebron, we have no other information on it. You saw how the rain's coming down, how the winds are picking up. It's not unusual for it to take a while for that information to get through the pipeline and make it to the media, mainly because people just don't want to put themselves in harm's way and they go out and survey it after the fact. So severe thunderstorm warning still in effect. You see them here all in yellow.
The tornado warning has expired.
Okay, so the tornado warning for the northern part of Boone County, for parts of Hamilton County, parts of Dearborn County has expired. And what we're looking at here now, is this yellow or green, Ashley?
Where are you right now? So the south is yellow.
Okay, thank you. I'm I'm red-green colorblind, so sometimes certain shades of yellow and green give me fits. But a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Owen County, mainly from Poplar Grove up Eagle Creek on into Grant County, all of Grant County, the southern part of Pendleton County, including Falmouth, and also into the southern part of Kenton and Campbell counties. There's a severe thunderstorm warning, and that is until 10:15, and that is for again, 60-mile-an-hour winds possible, large hail. We haven't had many reports of hail here, but when those storms were forming over in Indiana, between here and Indianapolis, there were a number of reports of 2-inch hail, 1-inch hail, and they seem to have lost their punch there. Also, most of Claremont County under a severe thunderstorm warning. Most of Brown County, the panhandle of Brown County, and the area around Georgetown, actually a little bit south of Georgetown, Hillsborough and Highland County, and the northern part of Adams County under severe thunderstorm warnings. Okay, and you can see now, if you notice and look at it closely, you can see the rainfall beginning to dissipate. Notice how large of an area it was. Notice how it kind of merged into a line, and now it's beginning to fall apart. So these storms are in the final stages of their lives. They're old age storms. They're beginning to weaken, and they're beginning to move off to the south and east. And the only problems associated often with weakening storms is the extremely heavy rainfall. So do you feel confident in saying we're probably out of the tornado danger phase of this whole thing?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so, and that's what happens. The rain comes down, it cools the air. Cool air doesn't get lifted as easily. It doesn't get incorporated into the storm, and the whole thing begins to break down. And so right now, we're more than likely, I would really be surprised to see another tornado warning come out. Still some severe thunderstorm warnings. Those are going to begin to go away, and we're going to have more and more flood advisories, flood warnings, flash flood warnings from what is left of the storms. And again, you can also look, the lightning you saw also decreasing in amount. Look at all the lightning there. There's still a lot of it out there, but not as much as there was earlier. All indications that the storms are weakening, and the main threat from here on out seems to be, for the most part, heavy rain and the possibility of some flooding. So let's see. Can we go back to Max 2 here for a minute? And I'll show you what we've got on radar here. We've got some really heavy rainfall here. This dark red, that's Flingsville up to Piner, on up to just west of Claryville. So this is the Licking River right here, this curvy line. So this is Kenton County. It's moving to the east. So in Kenton County, from Piner on up to just about Highland Heights, really, really heavy rainfall. That really heavy rainfall is moving eastward into Campbell County. It's moving into the northern part of Pendleton County, and we can expect some flood warnings from this rain because it is quite heavy. It's heavy enough to come down more than an inch in an hour if it would move that slowly. And as it moves into Kenton County, we're talking, excuse me, we're talking about the possibility of flooding. And if you've ever been down into some of these parts of Kentucky, really hilly, small creeks, the water runs off quickly. We don't know about every single creek or every single low spot in your neck of the woods. And so be very, very careful. If you know of a spot that typically gets high water, more than likely there'll be some high water around the area this evening. Okay, now let's go over to meteorologist Ashley Smith. Ashley.
Yeah, so Steve, one of the casualties of this storm has been power outages. Look at this. We have about 25,000 customers in our area that do not have power. And it's not just one concentrated area. I mean, you can see there are thousands without power in parts of Ohio and Kentucky. Of course, this is from Duke Energy, their outage map in both Ohio and Kentucky. And those outages extend even north of Dayton. Dayton has been seeing these storms earlier today, but even in our local area, we have, as I mentioned, thousands of outages kind of concentrated in these areas. But no matter where you are, chances are maybe if your development doesn't have an outage, the one next to you may, because I noticed that too, even as I was coming into work, some of the street lights were out. It was kind of ominous, actually. The only light you could see in some areas was from that lightning. So these extend all the way south into parts of, it looks like Pendleton County included in that as well. So just about everybody in some sort of area seeing some outages. So that's something that people are going to be dealing with through the overnight hours. Of course, always be patient and report these outages if they are in your area so that Duke Energy knows to get out there and restore that power as quickly as they can and as safely as they can too. I'm going to send it back to Chief Meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer.
Well, thank you, Ashley, and thank you for coming in on a moment's notice to help out here. So we're going to go back to programming now. Everything's beginning to settle down. There's still going to be some severe thunderstorm warnings. There are going to be some flooding issues. Be careful. And those low spots, once you've had some heavy rain, there may be some high water to contend with, especially those low spots as you drive along and dip down along the road. So we're going to go back to programming now. If anything else comes up, we'll break in immediately, but the storms are settling down. The problems from here on out for the next couple of hours anyway will be flooding and some heavy rain, but that's moving off to the south and east pretty quickly. And any severe thunderstorm warnings that come out are likely to be just for the possibility of some large hail and some gusty winds. So now we go back to programming. If anything else comes up that's dangerous or you need to know about immediately, we will break back in and let you know. Thanks for watching, and we'll be on at 10 with a full report on all this weather and what you can expect overnight.
This Fox 19 Now First Alert weather update is sponsored by your local Toyota dealers. We now return to regular programming.